Okay, what's up, everybody? So the talk amongst the league right now is Aaron Rodgers might be signing with the Vikings. Although I saw that the Giants were one of the leading candidates, I didn't see the Vikings up there. Um, I don't think it'd be a good idea for the Vikings. Let's hear what the guys have to say. They brought in Eric Mangini for this segment. Interesting to see what he has to say.
The last 3 years. This is Kirk Cousins. I think there's some in there. I know there's some Josh Dobbs in there. Sam Darnold. So across the board, it's better for obviously the Vikings, not just win-loss, and obviously Rodgers missed a full year, but the per-game numbers are the per-game numbers. So Coach Mangini is joining us, and I'll ask you, Coach, who's the better option for the Minnesota Vikings this season, JJ McCarthy or Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I don't think you can rule out having both of them there, and I don't think that's a bad situation, depending on how the dynamic unfolds, because nobody knows what JJ McCarthy is at this point, and nobody knows what JJ McCarthy is going to be coming off of the injury, so you've got that unknown as well. If you could bring in Aaron Rodgers and have him there to compete with JJ McCarthy with that understanding, which is probably a big ask for what Aaron Rodgers wants in the world, then I think it could be a really good situation. If Aaron Rodgers would be willing to come in and actually act as a mentor and act as someone that can help JJ McCarthy move forward, that could be a really good situation as well. Now, Aaron hasn't shown the ability to do that. It's hard to say that he will go in and be willing to do that. But at this point, after the Jets experience, for him to go on that Brett Favre sort of timeline, where Brett, after he left us in New York, went to the NFC Championship in Minnesota, it could be a really positive thing for him. Being a dome with a talented team gives him a chance to end his career potentially on a high note.
I think the only way Rodgers would mentor JJ is like, you're behind me, I'm the starter, watch me, and then I'll help, like with Zach Wilson. But I don't see, like, if I was looking for a mentor or a veteran to compete with JJ, I'd rather bring in Russell Wilson, because I think Wilson would be fine, and he's obviously not the stature of Rodgers. You could bench Wilson if it wasn't going well. You'd have to cut Rodgers, I think. I can't imagine he would be benched. And I actually get that with how great of a player he's been. I'll say this, I think if theoretically their ceiling is higher with Rodgers this year than JJ, I think you feel like you're going to compete for the Super Bowl if you get Rodgers. But you guys know, like, where I'm at on Rodgers is I do not think, as good as the Vikings are, that they will win the Super Bowl with him or even get there. I think Rodgers has shown since he won his Super Bowl in 2011, he has not even been back. He's had, when he was at his best, when he was in his prime, with great weapons like Devontae Adams, great coaching like Matt LaFleur and Mike McCarthy, defenses weren't great, but still, even those years they went 13-3 is like late in his career, he couldn't get them past an NFC Championship game. I think if he went there, I don't think they'd get to the Super Bowl. And so if that's the case, why would I bring him in? Let me just go with JJ.
Well, coming off, remember, he had back-to-back MVP seasons, and then he had the down year before he went to the Jets. So, I mean, those are pretty...
But even in those years, he couldn't deliver what you think he should have.
Which I get, but I'm sure Minnesota would sign up for Aaron Rodgers as MVP of the league and see whether or not they can get over the hump that Green Bay couldn't get over. He is a year removed from the injury, so that makes it, potentially more attractive.
I'm baffled by Minnesota being involved in this, especially now that we saw, again, sorry to pat myself on the back, especially when I'm in the host chair, but classic one by me about.
First of all, you're not sorry. Just be honest.
But during last week's Sports Media Ombudsman, when I was like, hey, can we get accurate contract details? And I threw Sam Darnold's $55 million guaranteed out there as an example of did he really get that? And we found out today, no, Sam Darnold's deal is a 1-year, $37 million guaranteed deal with 2 team options. If that's all it was going to take to keep Darnold, and you're this unsure about JJ, then you could have just I would have been fine with that. Now that we know that the contract that Darnold signed, the team can move off him after one season, then I would I think going to JJ is the right move because you spent a first-round pick on him. You liked him in the preseason. It was reported, it's the type of injury guys have. It's unfortunate it costs you a year, but it's not supposed to change the trajectory of you as a player, especially as a quarterback. But if you're that nervous about JJ McCarthy, then just keep Darnold under those basically that same deal. They didn't want to do that.
Bingo. That's exactly my thought. If you're not sold on JJ, why not just keep Darnold, especially with the deal Darnold got? You don't think he would have signed with Minnesota for that deal? I think I don't see this happen. First of all, I think Rodgers is going to end up in the Steelers or the Giants anyway. Probably. I see a lot of people saying the Steelers, and I can see that connection. I can also see Rodgers being a diva and not wanting to move, so he goes to the Giants just so he doesn't have to move, but whatever. But yeah, like if you're not ready to make the move with JJ, then why didn't you just bring back Sam Darnold? That's kind of how I look at it. I think that you go with JJ. Maybe he'll surprise you. I can't say you're going to get any worse than last year because you got pretty well. You made it pretty far last year. You made it to the wild card round. You were one game out of the number one seed in the NFC. And yeah, you lost that game. Then you ended up as a wild card team. And then you lost in the wild card round. That's a tough break for you. But I think if you're looking at it from like apples to apples and saying we could stay as a playoff team, a wild card team, I think JJ can get you there. And then hopefully you're building towards something better than that in the future. I don't know if he can though, because we have no proof of that. But if you're high on him and you want to go with him, I say go with him. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think it's going to get you there either. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to get you any better than what you had last year with Sam Darnold. I really don't. Record-wise, it's not going to get any better. I don't think he's the guy who's going to get you over the hump over the Lions. I still think the Vikings are better than Green Bay. I think that even with JJ, I think they're going to end up being... I'm just not sold on Jordan Love. You guys know I'm not a Jordan Love guy. So if you're looking to be probably the number 2, no worse than number 3 team in the division and a wild card team this season, 2025, go with JJ. See what he's got. Maybe he'll surprise you. Maybe, maybe he'll get you the division, or maybe he'll get you the 5 seed and you're playing the 4 seed, and you might get lucky because you'll end up with some crappy 4 seed division winner, and maybe you can make a little run. I couldn't even tell you who the 4 seed would probably be. It would probably be the NFC South champ. Probably be Tampa. You go to Tampa, knock off Baker Mayfield, win a playoff game, go to the divisional round. Maybe you luck out. Maybe you'll end up like Washington did, and you play a team who's missing players, and you advance to the championship game. I think JJ can get you to the playoffs. I think JJ can get you a wild card round. Maybe he can win you the division. I doubt that. Detroit's going to be healthier, and I really think Detroit's going to stay on top of the division. They're getting all their guys back, but Minnesota's not far behind. Minnesota, and if JJ's the real deal, they could win the division. If he comes into the league and he's like the next best thing, oh man, look out. Look out for the Minnesota. But you don't need to go get Aaron Rodgers. Sam Darnold would have been fine if you're not sold on JJ yet, but you don't need Aaron Rodgers. I like the idea of bringing in Russell Wilson. You're going to need to bring in a backup. I don't know who the backup is going to be, but you do need to bring somebody in. I don't know who their backup was last year, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I really don't think Aaron Rodgers I really don't think that's a good idea. Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings. I'm trying to look up to see who their backup is right now. They hired Charlie Fry under the coaching staff. Look at that. Go get him. Wow. Charlie Fry, defensive assistant. Go get him, Charlie Fry. Carson Wentz is the backup? Okay. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to get you any better than Carson Wentz. Is that for real? Carson Wentz is the backup? Oh, no, he's a free agent quarterback. I don't know. I Googled who is the Vikings backup quarterback. Carson Wentz shows up. I didn't think that was accurate. I know that he's a free agent right now. Whatever. Okay, well, that would be a good option because he's not signed with anybody right now. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Aaron Rodgers, should they go get him? Should they get Carson Wentz? I didn't realize he's a free agent. Go get him. I think if you're going to go with JJ, go with JJ and go with Carson Wentz at this point. Like that's my thoughts. All right. Now that I know that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.